morning once again to everybody. Welcome to the World Cup 2025. Getting it to the end of the quarterfinals weekend, we have one of three remaining matches in the losers bracket to get through. One of these teams will be going home, and one of these teams will be progressing into the semifinals weekend. Hello everybody, I'm Fire Rage. Today I'm going to be joined in by Layton. How is it going?
I'm doing well, in general. I'm really excited about this match to cast Philippines versus Russia. This match means a lot for both of these teams. They have already played together in 2023, where I think Russia eliminated Philippines out of the tournament, or was it the other way around? Nonetheless, though, a very historic match nonetheless, and a rematch for one of those teams. Really excited. A lot of maps that were overlapping in their previous matchups. Russia played against Spain, winning with a comfortable score 6-1. Same for Philippines, winning against Indonesia with a score of 6-1 as well. So definitely very looking forward to this match, Fiery.
Yeah, I mean, it should be pretty interesting. I think will be there's a couple of picks I think I'm expecting to see from teams. I think Russia in particular is most likely going to be sticking with DT, just generic speed and mechanics. I think they have the raw advantage on that. Philippines might go for a bit more of a gimmick-oriented approach. Take some of the reading, for example.
Yep, in general, also that aim control element is also pretty good on the Philippines. You have such players as Nathan Ram, who look really comfortable on this. Russia, though, opting to ban out Nomad 5 immediately, not wanting to play that low AR gimmick map that you've mentioned prior. Philippines going to come down with the two bans of their own. Most likely, as you've mentioned, it's going to be mechanics once again, anticipating something like DT2 and maybe Nomad 2. We did see Philippines playing Nomad 2 earlier, and Russia on the mechanics side played DT3 earlier against Spain. Both of those teams did manage to squeeze out their wins against those teams, but still a lot of options left, a lot of mechanics maps in general. The map pool has a lot of mechanics, a lot of flow as well. You look at maps like Fremont 1, Fremont 2, and Fremont 3, all those free mods, they have a lot of flow aim elements to them, so something to take note here as Russia does look a little bit better on that particular skill set, Fiery.
I think realistically speaking, it's honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a DT1 ban come from the Philippines, but I feel like probably, as you said, DT2 is the most obvious example that they would ban, and yep, there it is, DT3 to follow up. Kind of what we were expecting. That's the stamina speed and just raw speed banned out immediately, not wanting to deal with Russia's expertise on that skill set. I imagine Russia's second ban, probably going to be one of the other gimmick maps. I imagine Hidden 2, Free Mod 2. Oh, no Mod 1? Okay.
Yep,
I mean, fair enough. The Philippines does have a decent raw aim roster as well, so probably just not wanting to deal with that.
Yep, the Philippines, they did win almost all of their maps when it comes to that particular skill set. All aim maps, they didn't manage to take no Mod 1 against Poland in a round of 16. And they did manage to win this map against Indonesia earlier on as well. And we already see the first pick already, Nomad 2, straight into those mechanics, straight into those Mazarin streams. The map is going to be relatively short, about 1 minute and 40 seconds long, 240 ppm, but the streams, they just never stop. They just keep on going. Very long as well. Some flow aim elements too, but very minor, because the main skill set of this is going to be speed.
I believe Russia didn't actually play this in their first matchup. I believe it was banned against them, if I'm remembering correctly. So they didn't get the chance to play this, but Philippines did, and they had a pretty solid team score, just about 2.78 million scores from Zongli and Jirish, 775k and 826k, inverse respectively.
Yep, exactly that, but Russia, it does favor them on paper. You have such players like Cobra and Ice Shark, also known as Maxime and Dalabi, joining in to fill the team, joined later on by Alexis, and probably most likely Welter, their biggest asset, their star player, Welter has been looking fantastic in their previous match against Spain, being a little bit silent in the round of 16 match against China, but this is the time to show his redemption, to show what he is truly capable of on the OWC setting, and we do see him joining in. Also on the opposing side, Ikarusi, Zonelys, and Nathan Ram as well. Ikarusi and Zonelys mainly do play this skill set relatively well, Nathan Ram being the star player on the Philippines side. Su also really good when it comes to most skill sets, and it's probably going to be perma-lobbing throughout this entire match. But yeah, also waiting for that fourth player to finish up this puzzle.
It's going to be Jitterish, I think. It is worth mentioning the prior match that they played, that's Nathan Ram did FC. We will not talk about the accuracy that he got, but he did FC. Whether or not that'll actually be the case this time around, a bit debatable.
A bit debatable indeed. Still waiting for Jitterish to join to fill out that fourth slot, basically. But as we talk about the map in general, the streams are going to be pretty lengthy, and the overall length is also going to matter a lot because every single miss is going to count. And considering the fact that it's almost everything is streams, you might expect a few chain misses that will basically flip the entire scoreline from one side to the other. So you got to make sure that your fingers are warm. But so far, Jitterish is unable to join the lobby for now.
Classic Bancho issues. It wouldn't be an Osworld Cup match without at least one of these. Finally going to be coming in though, and we should be getting underway shortly.
Yep, surely as well. He'll be positioning into this Nomad 2 really shortly. Hober, Ice Shark, Lexus, and Welter on the Russian side. Their first pick is going to be Nomad 2, straight into those mechanics and speed. Let's see whether they're ready and they're warm, because as you know, when it comes to those first maps, when it comes to those first picks, the nerves can be hitting significantly, so you gotta shake this things up. And with that, we are transitioning into Infernus, basically. Shimmy, a map by none other than Mazarin.
Pretty short map on this, under 2 minutes, so some of these early misses will be pretty impactful in terms of overall scoreline. As we said, Philippines got a 2.78 million in their last time around, looking to improve upon that. Russia has not played this. It was banned against them, and we're probably going to be seeing why it was banned against them, as they're still holding on to 4 FCs. Early misses from everyone outside of the zone on Philippines.
Misses from Russia though. Hober and Ice Shark finding those misses. Not the best start here, but still a quarter of the map gone. A slight combo advantage on the Philippine side, but the accuracy is not looking particularly well on a few of those players, especially Nathan Ram holding that 94% accuracy FC, but so far so good. It does switch towards the left though, but the recoveries are coming up. It's switching now finally, but still Nathan Ram finally finds a miss, traded by Jitterish and Hober too, so a slight trade in favor of Russia. Zonelys is also dropping that combo. It's just going to be Carusi to try and contest both Ice Shark and Welter. And look at Welter go, still the FC intact, and the accuracy on him is looking so comfortable. 99.5% to get that lead to 100,000 score and to keep it going more towards the right.
Yeah, Welter is, I think everyone kind of expected Welter to be the one to do exceptionally well on this as we get into the Death Stream part. Nathan Ram dropping a lot of accuracy, Ice Shark dropping the combo, but I think at this point, map is all but said and done. It will be shifting slightly over to the Philippines just due to the Maxim missing there, but not going to be shifting over enough to the point where it's going to really matter. Welter looking to close out the FC, and will manage to do so.
60,000 difference. Yep. And Welter, the FC is there. No FC, sadly, on the Philippine side. Just one miss from Carusi and a really good accuracy from Zonelys with the one miss too. But Welter is just on another level. You got to utilize your asset to your highest degree, and this is exactly what Russia did. 99.18% accuracy. Such a good score from Welter. And with that, it's going to be Philippines' turn to pick, and I think this time we might be seeing those gimmicks coming into play.
It's just a question of what gimmick map would they really want to choose to go for first. They didn't necessarily do, I'd say, exceptionally well on any specific gimmick map. I guess Free Mod 2, they didn't necessarily do that bad on. They could go for that if they wanted to. But outside of that, there's not really anything that I would peg as an obvious Philippine pick here.
Yep. I do think that maybe something like Nomad 4 and a Hidden 3 does favor Philippines a little bit on paper. Gotta utilize that low control tech control that I think Nathan Aran can definitely shine on, but Russia is also pretty good at this skill set. Not just Welter, but also someone like Vados could also play this relatively well, so gotta take that into consideration. But if with that Nomad 1 ban coming in from Russia, you also gotta consider something like Hidden 1. The Philippines AIM roster was looking good throughout those entire weekend and the weekend prior to that as well. So maybe that will be the strategy here to try and go for that Hidden 1. If not, Nomad 3 is also open, but this is going to be a little more risky. Philippines are taking their sweet time, and it looks like the die landed on the Fremont 2, or 2's in the map, 180 BPM. A little bit of a flow and a little bit of an old style map despite the BPM.
This is what we were saying would probably be the most reasonable pick, I would say. We already have data on Philippines, on what they would potentially go for here. Nathan Ram on the Nomad, almost with an FC 770k. Imagine we'll be seeing the same thing from him. Zany on the Hidden with an S rank. Lord Gabriel and Icarus on double Hard Rock. Potentially an overmod here. They could also opt instead to take a second Nomad if they want to change things up.
Something to note here is that Russia also played this map as well, because both I think Gamer did play this Nomad. Welter, on the other hand, played this with Hard Rock. Really good scores on the side of Russia as well, and it's a little surprising to see Philippines picking it, considering that Russia got a slightly better score in their match against Spain, getting that 100,000 lead in comparison. So, an interesting and definitely a very risky pick here, Fiery.
I think they're planning on taking a second Nomad for consistency purposes here, which might make more sense as to why they picked into it.
That's probably the strategy here. Lord Gabriel and Ikarusi were on those Hard Rocks earlier in their match against Indonesia. This time, probably opting not to be so risky, and it does make sense. Russia looks relatively scary on this map, and the main player to look out for, aside from Welter, who's probably going to be playing this with Hard Rock, is Gamer, who got an 850,000 score, missing right at the end. Tragically unable to FC the map, but Vlados also joining in as the final piece of the Russian puzzle to get that hidden going for them. And with the players now in the lobby, this one is going to be also short, 2 minutes and 19 seconds long. Anti-mod CS5 AR8. Every single modification is going to add significant difficulty into this map. Hard Rock makes it precision, and Hidden obviously makes it a lot more reading heavy. And with the good luck of Fonz in the chat, it is time for Suminagashi.
They're actually not going to be taking a second Nomad, but they are going to be replacing Icarus with Zone Louis on the Hard Rock. Outside of that, every mod combination remaining the exact same from the past times both of these teams played this. So we'll see if anything happens differently. As we said, Russia had a 100k score lead on this the last time they played, but this is definitely a lot more of a volatile map in terms of just raw combo, and I mean, we're already kind of seeing that. Gamer with an 850k struggling in the early stages here. This is very much a map that you could pop off on and do very well on, or just absolutely tank your score, and for right now, seems to be favoring the Philippines, as there is a lot of misses on the Russian side.
Exactly, and LFC is also dropping the Hard Rock FC as well, and Maxim also falling. The combos are not there for Russia. Only 2 recoveries on the side of Gamer and Vlados, while Welter finds an unfortunate slider break on out of the sliders, but still, those combos on the Philippines side, 4 FCs are still holding, and the lead is already 200,000 and growing as we speak. The Hard Rock, the Overmod strategy, looks like it's paying off for Philippines here, and they definitely knew what they were doing. Zany finds a miss on the hidden combo down, but still nothing too significant, because those combos for Russia Russia have still not built up to the capacity to try and threaten Philippines, especially with those 3 FCs still on the board. Half of the map now gone, and the lead just continues to grow while Maxim and Vlados also find their misses. Gamer, the only one with the combo to try and contest, but what can you do when those 3 FCs are still holding?
Yeah, this is a slightly better team score from the Philippines. The swap from Icarus to Zone Louis, of course, as soon as I even think about mentioning his name, he would be missing, but we'll be getting more or less the same score that Icarus got, so swap there going to be paying out for the Philippines. And just overall doing much better as a team on this map than they did last time. Already passed their previous team score and Russia's team score from the last time they played this, for that matter. Nathan Ram and Lord Gabriel looking to close out a double FC on this, one of which with Hard Rock. Not necessarily the best accuracy, but doesn't really matter. It's a combo game after all. Gamer with an FC of, or basically an FC of their own. But it will be Nathan Ram and Lord Gabriel to close things out. Very impressive team score from Philippines on that, improving their prior score 600k in their favor.
That is such a good improvement from Philippines, and the ones that made this change possible was Lord Gabriel and Nathan Ram. Lord Gabriel especially on that Hard Rock FC. Any single modification on this map will make this map relatively brutal, and Lord Gabriel looks like he was unfazed by the Hard Rock. While Russia, yes, Gamer did have a consistent score in comparison to his last one, but in general a low roll compared to their match against Spain, and now the score is tied up. No breakpoints in the vicinity, and it's going to be Russia's turn to pick. And with DT2, DT3 gone, and Nomad 2 also being picked by them, the mechanics are slowly getting smaller. You might want to consider something like 3mod1 that Philippines also played, and Russia did have a slightly better score in comparison, but it's very, very risky too. So not a lot of options. Maybe you might want to go for something like HR2, HR1 to try and play into that Hard Rock comfort, but Philippines are also good at that, so a lot of options there.
They're going to be going for Hard Rock 1. I was about to say, I think DT1 would be a pretty obvious pick for Russia at some point during this match. Not wanting to go for it right now, though. This is still a somewhat mechanics-oriented map, 192 BPM, a lot of bursts in this one, and some of an aim focus, not necessarily a huge aim focus. It is worth mentioning, by the way, as we see Skrowl in the lobby, Skrowl did not play for Russia last match. So they have Skrowl now, as evident by him being in the lobby. He is Hard Rock Man on the Russian side. So that can definitely swing things in their favor on the Hard Rock roster. Definitely would be a much needed improvement for them in order to take some of these Hard Rock picks.
Exactly, Skrowl has been solid so far for this OWC, but definitely excited to see more of him, and where else other than this HR1. A lot of flow aim also involved in here, where Russia does statistically look better on paper, but Philippines, they also do relatively good on this. The Hard Rock comfort coming from Russia might be the biggest difference here, especially since a lot of their players also play the flow aim skill set well. You look at those players like Gamer, you look at those players like Welter and Scrovel too. We see Lexus on the side of Russia, while Disuk is also there in the lobby, probably going to be another player to finish up that Russian puzzle, as well as Scrovel too. Interesting choice here when it comes to the lineup. No Gamer, surprisingly enough, but on the side of Philippines, you see Nathan Ram and Perhap.
I actually lied, they did not play this map prior in their match. I thought they did. I guess it was a different Hard Rock map that I'm thinking of. Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Disuke, Lexus, Skrull, and Welter in on the side of Russia. Gonna be seeing Lord Gabriel, Nathan Ram, perhaps without the S. And I imagine Zone Louis probably as the last one, or Icarus. That would make the most sense, and it's gonna be Icarus.
Gotta appreciate Disuk not being able to switch the keyboard from Cyrillic to Latin there. Just a little bit of an aura loss, but nonetheless, it doesn't really matter as long as you hold that combo and that accuracy on this map. The map is going to be relatively longer in comparison to those two previous maps that we've seen so far, hovering about 3.5 minutes 3.5 minutes off that flow aim and hard rock comfort that we've been talking about. 192 BPM, definitely in the comfort zone for a lot of these players, and a start for a haunted dance. Let's see whether this pick will not be haunted for Russia, because otherwise they might have problems.
Wouldn't necessarily say problems quite yet, but it will definitely put a wrench in their plans, I'd imagine, having a breakpoint this early on. For right now, though, Russia being a more confident team as we get into the early stages here. This map is also somewhat of a toss-up, mostly in the beginning stages. Depends on whether or not you can get accustomed to these sharp flow aim changes. For right now, though, Russia doing fine. Isuke on a miss, but it is traded by Perhap and Lord Gabriel as well, with an early miss alongside Nathan Ram.
Yeah, the slight combo advantage to Russian side as we go into the first guy now. A little bit more of an intense section here. A lot more jumps to doubles, triples, everything that you like, but no combo breaks so far on this GI. The score gap is really small, 30,000, growing a little bit towards Russia, but every single 100 will get it more towards the left though. But still, the combo advantage here does remain intact, while those recoveries are coming in. Desuk not finding the best start, but Lord Gabriel does give that window of opportunity for Russia. 1/3 off the map gone, and the score gap is going to be gapping even more towards the side on the right so far. Still, the flowing patterns and the jump parts are not catching anyone off guard, and the second QI is now on our screens.
This act from Welter, again, is just absolutely disgusting. I think a 2x100 run from him so far. Icarus not far behind, almost holding a 99% as well as Lexus. So the FC is doing really well. There goes Skral on one of the high combos. We'll be shifting things over to the Philippines, but not by really that much of a noticeable margin. Maybe now with some of the repeated breaks, but Lord Gabriel trades it, so never mind. Desuke also breaks. Icarus trades that one, so FC gone for the Philippines, which favors Russia slightly as we get into it. Everyone's having trouble on this 1/3 section.
Yup, not lucky that 1/3, but still Perhap also lost the recovery combo for the side of Philippines. Just Nathan Ram also gone as soon as I say that, and Lexus trades, but Welter. It's the Welter show. Call him Welter White because he is cooking with this Hard Rock 1. The combo is there, 1400 combo and growing. This man has been unstoppable so far for a while. You've seen him play No Matu, you've seen him play a little bit of a solid performance on the Fremont 2, finally finds a miss to try and calm him down, but the damage has been done. 200,000 difference on the side of Russia, a few misses coming in, and the combo advantage is going to be on Philippine side, is going to be switching over towards the left slowly, but the time is of the essence, the resource that they need more misses from Russia and hopefully to hold on for longer, but so far the final KI is now on the board. Lexus and Scribble finding their respective misses, but still the difference is pretty large still. This Souk though, that's one it's going to sting a lot. Still, the combos are on the Philippine side of Carusi. Lord Gabriel perhaps does find a miss though. Nathan Ram also on the miss. It switches towards the left, but I think the time might not be enough here, Fiery. 140,000, it goes towards the left. The map calms down, the intensity and the overall combo density is getting smaller. Welter finds another miss, 100,000. A lot of misses. A massive chain miss as well from Scrobble, but this is not enough to switch it to the Philippine side.
I think maybe if Nathan Ram and Perhap held their combo at the very end there and didn't have the miss, it might have been enough to shift it over, but it was very slow, so I'm not entirely sure on that. Nonetheless, Russia secure a very solid point of their own. Welter and Lexus having the best score in the lobby. Icarus with a very unfortunate slider break, 650k. Nathan Ram not too far behind. Will be Russia's point, though. As kind of expected, it was their pick, Philippines, to pick into something a bit more unorthodox next, I would imagine.
Yup, still, those no foreign hidden three that I mentioned prior do look like good options on paper. Definitely risky though, but good performance there from Philippines. Sadly, Carisi found a miss, found a slider break, an S rank to his name on that Hard Rock 1, but such a good score nonetheless. A lot of options are there, and Hidden One is also looking ever so juicy for Philippines to try and capitalize their aim advantage against the Russian squad. I would not be surprised to see one of those, and also the Hidden Comfort in general does favor Philippines, so I'm looking at that Hidden 1, 2, and 3. Basically, the entire Hidden pool is looking good for Philippines, and I would imagine this is where their next pick would land.
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure that they would want to go for Hidden 3. They didn't get a superb team score on it. Obviously, it wasn't bad, but sub 2 million on that. So unless it was a very much a low roll from them, I don't necessarily see them picking into that. Hidden 2 might be a possibility. But right now, I think on the board... Yeah, well, okay. As soon as I mentioned Hidden 2, there it is.
Yep. Didn't see this map from both of these teams, but this is going to be your precision map, basically. I think hovering about that CS 6.5, if I recall correctly. 6.8, actually, never mind. And also, AR9 does have some elements of reading, but the main difficulty of this map is definitely going to be the CS, the precision element that will be tested in this map, along with some flow and aim control. 1 minute and 58 seconds long, so yet another short map in this matchup, and 192 BPM, mirroring the same BPM on the HR1.
This is a map I was kind of expecting Spain to be picking into when they were playing against Russia earlier. Never actually happened, but we'll be seeing it here for the first time for these teams. Bit of an interesting map. Not really something you would expect to see from the hidden slot, CS7 almost, as you said. The precision-oriented map. I think even more precision-oriented than Hard Rock 2. Or maybe Hard Rock 2 is slightly lower CS. Can't really remember off the top of my head. Nonetheless, Russian roster is in the lobby. Discape, Lexus, Gamer, and Welter all in. I imagine we'll be seeing Nathan Ran, Ramu, Icarus, and Zany in on the side of the Philippines. Just waiting for them to get into the lobby.
Yep, getting that comfort for precision. You just cannot really launch precision maps right off the bat. You need to get comfortable with the CS, and I would imagine this is exactly what the players are doing there. CS 6.8 is definitely a beast of its own. It might seem like a lot of these players are familiar with the precision skill set in general, but 6.5 and 6.8, despite the 0.3 difference in the numbers, still can be felt, especially when you slap AR9 hidden onto that as well. So definitely a very interesting map here, and with the good luck of funds now in the chat, it's going to be time for transient tears, and hopefully no tears will be spilled because of this map.
A relatively short map, just under 2 minutes. This is definitely a volatile map, as is the case for most precision maps, in all honesty. It's kind of double the fact now that you're adding hidden on top of the precision aim that you need for this. So, we'll see how it goes for either of these teams. Philippines being the one picking into this, I imagine, feeling a bit more confident on it. Unfortunately, a couple of misses early on here as they get accustomed to the circle size, but should be seeing them lock in relatively shortly, and it's not going to be the big deal anyway, as Desuke and Lexus trade those.
Yep, Ram also finds a miss, as long as Nathan Ram as well also does hit the stream, misses right before that. Desuke, once again, another miss from the side of Desuke. Nathan Ram, another miss as well, unable to find the combo so far. The star player for Philippines being relatively silent in this hidden 2, but this is just the beginning. But still, the map is short, and the beginning, it might seem like nothing, but it's already a third of the map now gone. A lot of misses just happened in an instant. Zany, Karuti, Nathan Ram, Gamer, and Desuke all dropping, and it's just Welter and Lexus standing on the side of Russia, and Ramu was holding the combo for a little before breaking as well, and it's not, no, it's not time for Welter and Lexus to pop off, not anymore, as they also find the misses off their own.
Yeah, no one's really having a fun time on this. This map is pretty hard, in case you couldn't tell. Will be still, I think, nope, never mind, not slight favor of Russia, as there's repeated misses from everyone. Zany, the only combo remaining, really. Nathan Ram countered by Lexus. It was just that combo on Zany as we get into the ending here. 60k in favor of the Philippines, and there's just repeated misses from the Russian side, which is going to keep on growing this score lead. Nathan Ram and Zany just do not want to miss whatsoever. There's a chain miss from Lexus, the remaining combo on the Russian side. Zany does trade it, but it's Nathan Ram to close things out at the very end here. There is a hard pattern at the end. We'll see if chain misses happen on the side of Nathan Ram, and he doesn't even get phased at all by it. Deske as well hitting it, but Nathan Ram, what a pop-off on the ending there when he was needed.
That is the time when you look at your star players to make a difference, and make a difference he did. Nathan Ram, 1918, being the highest score in the lobby. Also by a pretty good margin, the closest one is going to be Zany, his teammate, 492,000. Definitely a really good score from Philippines to equalize the score, and it is now a 2-2-2. Good showing from the Philippine side. A well-scouted pick as well. And with that, Russia will be choosing their own map. A lot of misses were happening left, right, and center on the hidden two. The equilibrium switching to either team. And for a moment, it looked like it could have been shaky, but Nathan Ram did everything in his power to make that difference more comfortable for the Philippines. And now, with the mechanics still present in this pool, I think Russia might want to go for something like Fremont 1 or Fremont 3, maybe DT1 as well.
I think DT1 is honestly an obvious pick. The round of 16 DT1, they won against the Philippines in the head-to-head matchup by, let's see, 1.5 million. So just a slight team gap there.
Yeah, but when it comes to this DT1, though, it's going to be definitely really risky here because the difference in the scores looks like, yeah, we were going for that, but coming back to the statistics, both of these teams played this map against their respective opponents in this stage, in the quarterfinals. Russia getting a 2.5 million score against 2.3 million score actually against Spain. 2.4, they lost it to Spain. On the other hand, Philippines also lost this pick against Indonesia, getting a 2.3 million team score. So a slight advantage to Russia, but not a huge one, especially considering how nervous the players might be because of this map. It does have a lot of historical impacts because this map basically needs no introduction. We've talked time and time again throughout all of these matchups how important this map is for the Ozu community, how it was a PP record back in 2017 by Kukizi, or also known as Shigetora, but it's always nice to see remote control being played, Fiery.
Was it actually 2017? I swear it was 2018. Man, I'm old.
Don't worry. The main reason why I know this map is because I started playing back in the days when this became a PP record. That's why I remember the exact date, basically. But
you know, you're right, March 29th, 2017. That's actually nuts. I did not think this was a 2017 BP record. I thought this was ranked in 2017, bro. What happened?
Yup, the time flies. Almost 9 years since that map.
Yeah, this map doesn't need introduction. Everyone, I think, knows this to some extent. This is a very popular map. What you would consider a PP farm map for double-time players. Some bursts here and there, but this is essentially only raw aim outside of a burst section in the middle.
Yep, pretty much. A lot of bursts in the end of the guys and at the last section as well. Right at the very end, there is a little bit of a tricky slider section on the second half, covering about that second third with the reverses that might catch a few combos off guard, but nothing too significant and too scary to imagine. All of these players are 100% familiar with this map. Most of them probably had this in their top place at some point, but the good luck of funds are now in the chat, and it's time for Russia to take control of this match to get into yet another lead and to not let Philippines run away. Remote control mapped by none other than Taeyang. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to transition into this DT1.
As you said, both of these teams did play this prior gamer with an 850k score. Looking to replicate that. Welter with a bit of an underperformance on this. Lowest score in the lobby for Russia, and I imagine that won't be the case again. This is very much a mind-blockable map for some of these old players, though. Also worth mentioning, AR 10.5 in contrast to what you'd usually expect from a DT aim slot, which should generally be AR 10.3, AR 9 post or pre-double time.
Exactly, but now with the intro gone, here comes the burst. Still, nothing too significant. The main difficulty on this map is going to be that aim element that comes in into the KIs with those star and triangle jumps scattered throughout the entirety of all of these KIs. Also getting significantly difficult in spacing on the last one, but still, a miss from Lord Gabriel happening in the slow section, basically on the burst, as Russia takes the early lead so far, but let's see whether that's going to hold for long, because it's the transition to the first PI.
Misses coming in from Diske and Welter on the first pair of jumps there. Lord Gabriel did miss earlier, so won't necessarily be massively in favor of the Philippines, especially with Jitterish missing at the very end there to trade Diske. So, very slight advantage to the Philippines coming out of that first jump section, but nothing really crazy.
Yep, so far, so good for both of these teams. A million score already secured, but still, this is just the half of the map. Jisuke, another miss on the side of that player. Still, Zoneless and Ikarusi with the double FC holding on to that dream. Same for Russia, Gamer and Lexus. The accuracy does favor the Philippines a little bit, especially with that accuracy from Ikarusi. 99.3% accuracy. Still, more jumps to come. Melter and Desuk once more finding the miss of Jitterish. Also, Lord Gabriel, good on the recovery. The difference is already not getting so comfortable for Russia, but Zoneless and Ikarusi, a massive collapse from Philippines. All the combos are down, and it's Gamer and Lexus to hold.
Yeah, this is kind of what happens with some of these volatile maps with the diff spikes. If your entire team just kind of collapses on the difficulty spike, goodbye. There's a bit of a slow section here for the combos to be built up on the Russian side. Potential miss on these 1-8 repeat sliders here. We'll see if anyone does, but we haven't really seen anyone miss on these. And it won't be the case as we get into the burst section here.
First section here, that slow part already shifted the gears up to 200,000. The Russian side is looking so comfortable with that lead. Lexus, though, finds a miss on basically nothing as we transition into the first TI. Not going to hurt them significantly. Gamer doing what he does. He did have the best score from the Russian squad last time against Spain. Let's see whether he improves on that score. 850,000 score was his last one. Finds a miss, sadly, not to get the FC that he also wanted, but the difference is already so massive. Ikarusi, a massive recovery on their side, but the difference is already so big, 200,000. I don't think there is enough time, Fiery. The bursts surely are coming in. Lexus finds a miss, but unless Russia just decides to fully collapse, I don't think this is possible. Ikarusi doing just everything in his power, but this is not going to be enough as Russia takes the third point on the board.
That was just a very unfortunate miss from Icarus. I think, that was a one miss in the middle of the map. Crazy accuracy to 99%. Just very unfortunate timing on the miss. Basically exactly halfway, the halfway point of the map. But FCing the entire ending. Gamer, once again, standing out on this map. Lexus to help support him this time around. 800k for him. 900k, which is a 70k improvement from Gamer's previous score on this map. Solid pick, once again, from Russia. These teams know what they want to pick, and so far it's paying out for them. Let's see if that continues with the Philippines' third pick.
Exactly. That GT1 was a little too close for comfort maybe for Russia, so that aim department on the Philippines looking good, saved by the unfortunate triple miss from these players that gave Russia that leverage to exploit and take that victory on the GT1 and hidden one, and now looks also really, really good for them. Fremont 3 is also a possibility. Both of these teams actually played both Fremont 1 and Fremont 3, all being relatively close to one another. Philippines having a slightly better score in comparison, but probably could have been a low roll on Russia, could have been something else, but I think this is probably going to be a hidden one from Philippines. So far, the jetpack race is still waiting for the players to pick that, but Philippines, to try and not give Russia the momentum, need to think for long enough, and sure enough they do. They go for that hidden free with that aim control that we've been talking about, mapped by none other than Flask, 160 BPM, alt aim control. And I think this is probably a little bit of a risky pick, as you said prior, because Russia can play this too, but Philippines, on paper, they should be favored in this skill set, Fiery.
I mean, we didn't see Russia play this against Spain. As we said, they didn't pick into this. This was played in the Philippines match, though, and the reason I'm kind of iffy about them picking into this is just solely because they didn't necessarily get a good score on this. They had sub 2 million as a team, no one above 500k.
Yep.
Could have been one of the low rolls of all time, granted, and this map is also pretty hard, despite the low star rating in comparison to the rest of the pool. But I just think this is a bit of an interesting pick. We'll see how this ends up playing out. As you said, Philippines should be favored on this. They are the one picking into it after all.
Yes. I think the main reason why Philippines could have low-rolled on that hidden free with their match against Indonesia is probably due to the fact that they might have had the early match nerves. This was the first map that was played in their matchup, so probably a factor to consider in there, but looks like, I think there's a really high chance that Philippines will improve on that score. Nathan Ram getting a 509,000 score, the only one getting above that 500,000 threshold, while on the Russian side, as you see Skrovel, he thrives on aim control. He thrives on this skill set. Has been quiet so far throughout this entire matchup, but looking to prove him others and basically prove himself here, prove others wrong and prove himself, while on the Russian side we still wait probably for Vlados or Walter to complete the puzzle here.
Yeah, Vlados was in the wrong slot, so I'll be getting that settled. But yeah, Icarus, Nathan Ram, Zany, and Ramu. The hidden mainstays on the Philippine roster, same roster that they used in Hidden 2. Going up against Skrull, Lexus, Dasuke, and Vlados. Or Dasuk, rather.
Yep. But yeah, Vlados, the rookie of the Russian squad, being the key cornerstone in their match against China, being the highest match cost in comparison to everyone else. Definitely proved himself already, but this performance here to prove himself once more would be even better. But so far, 2-3 lead in the for Russia here. And with that, the map starts off 2 minutes and 30 seconds long, about average in length, but still everything could happen here. Ramu finds an early miss here to give Russia that early advantage, as the accuracy is also looking pretty good so far for Russia. Nathan Ram, the star player, the one who top scored this map previously against Indonesia, also finds a miss to give Russia that early good lead, 70,000 and growing, Fiery.
Yeah, this was kind of what I was concerned about having them pick into this. There's still plenty of map remaining, but for right now, it is in favor of Russia. Skrull and Nathan Ram going to be trading misses, but it's quite literally just Zany up against 3 FCs, and that's just going to be gone immediately. There's not really any hope for the Philippines already, and we're not even halfway done of the map.
Look at those accuracies as well from the Russian side, 99.6 and 99. Yeah, exactly the same accuracy. Also, Skrovel hovering around that 99% at triple FC just to exacerbate the things even further. The equilibrium shattered as the Russia continues to hold up to that massive advantage, 500,000, and this is just the beginning. Skrovel finds a massive chain miss as well. Vlados also there to miss, but Philippines also saw a lot of misses on their side, but the double FC on Russia is still holding. Dasuke and Lexus, the two players, still are about to crush Philippine dreams here. Ramu finds a miss on the slow section on transition here, but still a third of the map left, and this is looking so dark here for Philippines, Fiery.
I do think Russia's kind of overperforming on this, because let's be real, what is this team score? Double FC still intact. Yeah. Vlados with a 500k to back things up. Skrull did have that chain miss, which is impacting his score a lot, but it doesn't even matter. This team gap is going to be pretty big. Finally, we can see the double FC miss from Alexis and Dasuke, but it's not even going to be enough time, even remotely, in the map to finish things off. 800k from both of them by the end of this, and Vlados with a supporting 600k. Skrull despite the chain miss, covering pretty nicely, almost to 500k. Score lead will be shifting somewhat over to the Philippines by the end there, but still 400k in favor of Russia. I do think that was a bit of a mispick. And Russia getting the first breakpoint.
A bit would be putting it lightly. Russia absolutely decimating Philippines on this hidden free. Basically 2.8 million team score on this map is just ridiculous, Fari. This is a really good showing from Russia. Also, a lot of unfortunate misses towards the end by Desuk and Lexus, which could have very much been a double FC on their side. But 4-2 lead, the breakpoint now taken for Russia to get the momentum on their side and continue doing what they do best. Fremont Free is being picked on Seeking You, a map that was used for China Land prior, but this time, this is going to be basically washing machine streams, if that makes sense.
I'm actually very interested to see why Russia picked this, because this is, I think, one of the closer matches that they have in this matchup. So having them pick this early on, I guess they want to try and risk something since they have a breakpoint. Might as well get this out of the way, but I do think this is a bit of a cheeky pick. Not necessarily massively in favor of Russia, I'd say. Both of these teams did play this in the match prior. Nathan Ram and Desuk, both on the no mod, carrying their team. Mod players on Zany and Icarus and Vlados and Gamer, getting around 400k each for their teams. It was mainly the only reason Russia won the head-to-head matchup here is because Welter had a 550k score, and the no mod on Lord Gabriel was kind of struggling a bit, having a lot more chain misses. That's kind of the nature of this map. You can just chain miss literally everything on this. If your speed that you go at the stream is even slightly off, you're just missing the entire thing.
Yep, and if you play this with a mod, you're definitely missing everything. Both with Hard Rock and Hidden, this map, with any modification, is just a complete nightmare. You will see this shortly in the key eyes when you will have those circular streams that continue to go on for a very long time. Definitely the BPM might be lower, 145, but the spacing with the Hard Rock on those streams and the flow required to try and hit those is insane. And if anyone hits those with Hard Rock, then this is already a really good score. But nonetheless, the players are ready. Lord Gabriel, Carusi, Zany, and Nathan Ram on the side of Philippines, matched by Walter, Lexus, Desuk, and Gamer on the opposing side. And it's time to seek a breakpoint for Philippines, because otherwise they will be in trouble, and Russia will take the match point if they win this.
Roster swap for Russia on this. Vlados going out. Lexus going in on the Hidden. Outside of that, everything... Actually, not everything remaining the same. Gamer opting to take no mod this time. Welter on the Hard Rock. Those two are pretty interchangeable in terms of Hard Rock prowess, so not horribly surprised to see that. I think both of them can do really well in Hard Rock. I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if they had double Hard Rock this. Since this is CS3, a bit more friendly on the Hard Rock mod, but for right now, just Welter on the very early miss. This map is pretty lengthy, so not going to make a huge difference.
That, but still in the early lead to the Philippines side, getting more into that build-up, a more intense section. Still a relatively slow one in comparison to what we can see on the key eyes, but misses are definitely possible. 14,000 difference favoring Philippines so far, but the accuracy on the Russian side is what keeps it stopping from going towards the left. Welter, the only one missing earlier, could retain the lead here for the Philippines side. But here comes the... Oh no, Desuk finds a huge team miss here on the transition. The flow catching him off guard, and here come those circular streams. This is where the misses will happen. Gamer finds him as the first one to do so on the Russian side, but the Philippines are still holding strong. The modded FCs as well are there too. Nathan Ram, I'm not even going to mention their accuracy because this is just ridiculous. Desuk and Lexus, no combos for Russia, but Philippines, what is happening? Icarus finally missing, but what is Philippines doing? Nathan Ram with an SS still halfway into the map, and Zany finally missing, but Nathan Ram and Lord Gabriel, this is ridiculous, Fiery. Finally,
what a miss from Nathan Ram on that stack. That's nuts.
That is nuts. The whole flow has just stopped, but Lord Gabriel still retains the SS, and this is probably backfiring for Russia. Philippines were seeking that breakpoint, and it's getting delivered so far with that performance. Second KI on the board, more flow to come in here. Lord Gabriel still holds on to that FC, 1,000 combo barrier broken, and the accuracy is just ridiculous. Russia, only 2 players on the recovery. Jisuke and Gamer trying their best, but as long as Lord Gabriel holds, this is going to be an uphill battle. They are unable to win so far. Lord Gabriel, this is a ridiculous score. And Nathan Ram, if you consider the context of the miss, this is just insane showing from Philippines. Still, some part of the map left, and Lord Gabriel continues to decimate this map.
So yeah, as I was saying early on, prior to this map being played, Lord Gabriel had the worst score out of everyone in this lobby from the first time they played this. 385k. That was mostly off the back of a 16 miss. I imagine he chain missed a couple of the streams. Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Yep. That's insane. I have no words, Fiery. This is such a good showing from Philippines. 99.65% FC on Lord Gabriel, and Nathan Ram holding the SS for half the map, hitting the hardest parts of the map as well. This is just a beatdown of Russia, and what a good way to come back into the match. The momentum shifted and the mental damage has been done to the Russian squad. 3-4. What a showing, Fiery.
That's solely, mostly from Lord Gabriel just improving his score. Nathan Ram having a bit of an oopsie, but still relatively more or less the same score that he got in the first match, and Zany and Icarus as well, getting more or less what they got. So it's literally just off the Lord Gabriel FC there. That's where all the 500k score lead from their prior match, that's where all of it comes from. And that's why he's in. That's why he's in the map. You might have thought that he would be swapping out for somebody else. Nope. Low roll run into the highest of the rolls. And that'll be a breakpoint immediately taken back. Philippines follow with their 4th pick now. Mispick does not matter.
Mispick does not matter, but you still would try and want to equalize the score. Russia still in the lead despite the breakpoint. 3-4. Philippines need that point desperately to try and keep this competitive for as long as possible. The options are there, and that hidden one I've mentioned prior is still looking good for them. Fremont 1, given the way that Fremont 3 went, is also a possibility for Philippines, especially considering that they had a slightly better team score in comparison to Russia. Yes, definitely very risky, but yep, they are going exactly for that. Prismatics is going to be the map that Philippines will be picking, and this is even more of a flow aim test than Fremont 3.
Kind of interesting to see them pick into this, if I'm going to be honest. This is definitely... I mean, this is the PP stream map in the pool, compared to Remote Control, which was the PP aim map. This is where the flow aim test is mostly utilized in this pool, and where spacing on the streams becomes kind of ridiculous.
Yep, the spacing on some of those streams, even with no mod, already has follow points on them. Just imagine how this looks with Hard Rock, and imagine trying to stay competitive on this with Hidden too. This is just a ridiculous map to try and FC, and with those streams getting so spaced, we did see prior in their previous matchups, Gamer was on the Hard Rock, basically hitting those streams. All the hard parts were hidden by him with the Hard Rock, so that's definitely a player to look out for on the side of Russia. But Philippines are also not to be underestimated. This is their pick for a reason, and they are looking hungry to equalize that score.
I imagine we'll be seeing pretty much the exact same rosters for both of these teams, which will be Zone Luis with Nathan Ram on the no mod. Both of them did very good on this, which is kind of expected. Nathan Ram and Zone are both no mod 2 players. I'd peg them as the stream players on the roster. Nathan Ram is kind of just an everything player, but Zone Luis in particular, definitely a more stream-oriented player. Zany on the Hidden and Lord Gabriel on the Hard Rock. Imagine we'll be seeing the same thing from the Russian side, Welter and Aubert. Or not Aubert, it will be Alexis, I believe, on the no mod. Jisuke on the Hidden, and Gamer going to be retaking that Hard Rock, most likely. Could also opt to go for Welter on the Hard Rock, but Welter had the highest score in the lobby, almost FCing the map. missing at the very end of the last stream. So it actually will be Gamer taking the Nomad this time, so I imagine Welter on the Hard Rock, unless that's a Bancho problem. Nope, Welter on the Hard Rock. And Lexus taking the Nomad in place of the Aubert.
And here we go with the pre-mod 1 so far. A pretty good start for Rush. A few misses here coming in from Zini, but looking good in general. Just to start here, a good accuracy in general for all of these players, but this is just the start. The map is very, very long, 4 minutes and 10 seconds firing. So I would imagine we'd see a lot of misses coming in from all of these players.
Zany struggling a bit in the early stages here, trying to get his bearings on the streams here. It's going to be the only difference, but not going to be the end of the world. This is a very lengthy map, 4 minutes long, and really this just kind of comes down to who hits more of the stream patterns in the hard parts. So even if you miss on some of these easier parts, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yup, the key eyes is definitely the hardest part of this entire map. This is where the streams get that really, really high spacing, and that's where a lot of players, I would imagine, lose their combo. So far, so good for Russia, though, getting that advantage up to 80,000 score as we are now going into the build-up. The transition will be slowly coming in for that key eye. The jumps, the star jumps are coming in, and this is the time to get into that ridiculous space that we've been talking about, and here they come. This time it's going to be Welter on the Hard Rock instead of Gamer. Last time it was Gamer who was popping off on this Lexus and Zany. Do find misses, but so far so good. Triple FC trade favoring a little bit of Philippines here, but still the combos are holding. Half the map is there, but the combos are still holding. What are they doing? This streams, they're just not stopping. The map just puts on a gas pedal and keeps on going. Lord Gabriel and Nathan Ram do find their misses though, as Russia continues to persevere and hold on to their combos. What was that?
Okay, well that's one of the hard parts dealt with, and Russia came through with 3 FCs, 1 on the Hard Rock. What is Welter doing right now? Gamer on the no mod, and Dasuk on the hidden, so already vastly improved mod scores from Russia. Just 1 FC on the side of the Philippines from Zone Louis. And this score lead is going to be building up pretty considerably, unless we see some unlucky misses here. There goes Dasuk, but they're going to need a lot more than just that. Welter on the Hard Rock, looking volatile. There's the miss finally. And there's Gamer as well. Oh no, this could be a problem.
The time is ticking, the break is there. Zone East realizes the gravity of his situation here. The combo, the FC is resting on him, and I would imagine this is the time where the nerves will be hitting them the most significantly. But here it comes, the last PI on the board. Can Zone East do it? That's the question that is lingering on our mind so far. Nathan Ram with a good recovery to try and support his teammate Walter. A massive chain miss on the Hard Rock. Dasuk also finding a lot of misses. Lex is the only combo to try and contest Philippines. So far, so good for them, but it's definitely going towards the left. Those only finds a miss though, and so is Nathan Ram. A lot of misses, and I think this just about seals it.
Lord Gabriel hit that with Hard Rock.
Wow.
If they had one more combo hold through that stream, I think this would have been potentially possible for the Philippines. And Lord Gabriel is trying his hardest with that Hard Rock mod. That was insane at the ending there. Just unfortunately, no one else could really hold combo, and it will be slightly shifting over to the Philippines, but not by a noticeable margin. Probably about 150k in favor of Russia by the end of this map.
Yup, does look like it. Lord Gabriel tried their best, hitting the hardest part of the map as well with the Hard Rock. The streams and the spacing on that was just basically a whole galaxy, but Nonetheless, a breakpoint once again for Russia to take the match point, as Philippines are now in a more of a dire situation. No mistakes to be made, and to make matters worse, this is going to be Russia's pick this time to seal the deal, to put a dot on this matchup and move forward to the semifinals weekend. But this is still not over. Philippines, they still have a fight in them. And when the Lion gets quartered, this is where they get the most dangerous. Let's see whether that will happen this time around.
Gamer saying that this was an aim map because his slider broke. That's a you problem, man. It's okay, I love you, Gamer, don't worry about it. Russia with their next pick. Not really sure what they'd actually want to go for here. I guess Free Mod 4 would be a possible potential pick for them. I don't really see them picking into Hard Rock 3. It's way more tech-focused than I think they'd be confident with. Hidden 1, unironically, could be a possibility for them. We were saying Philippines have a really good aim roster, but I do think Russia can contest them on that. I think between... the most realistic picks, I think, are between Hidden 1 and Free Mod 4. Maybe DT4 if they just want to have fun. I have no idea.
Yeah, this is a really difficult choice here for Russia. If anything, I feel like I favor Free Mod 4 more to get into that mechanic side, and this is exactly what Russia are doing, picking the Locust map, which I think you are very familiar with, Fiery. I think you've nominated this one, right?
Yeah, I was involved heavily with some of the Locust sets, so I'm very familiar with this. This is the number 2 entry in Locust 2025. Number 2 winning entry, rather. Losing, unfortunately, to Locust of Hexagram. But nonetheless, it's still bundled with the game, as all top 5 entries were bundled. This is a pretty tech-oriented... It's mainly mech tech on this. There's a couple of bursts here and there, a lot of slider aim in some places. There's a slow section in the middle that you can build up your combo on, but outside of that, this map never really lets up in any point.
Yep, it just keeps on going. 231 BPM on top of that. Definitely on the mechanics side. A lot of streams, a lot of tech elements too. On paper, it does favor Russia with those mechanics, but the tech element does favor towards the Philippines though, but there is not a lot of tech in here. There's not a lot of sliders that you initially think when you think about the tech skill set in general, so this is going to be a pretty tricky situation here for Philippines because this map on paper does favor Russia. But Philippines, they definitely have a chance to show off the number of maps that are left. If Philippines will take this, they might be able to try and force the tiebreaker, but they are not allowed to make any mistakes because of one wrong move and you are eliminated from the tournament. Still waiting for the players to join. Hovering about 3 minutes, this one is going to be a little bit on the longer side, and I would imagine that we'd probably see Walter on the Hard Rock, and most likely Lexus or Dasuk on the Hidden modification for the side of Russia. On the side of Philippines, most likely Zini on the Hidden and Nicaragua on the Hard Rock to basically repeat their modifications for the 3-1 with some slight changes, I would imagine. But that being said, the map is going to be starting relatively soon. Haiboku no Ultra Vita, mapped by none other than Hiroshima. This is going to be very tough for Philippines, but to see the light of day, they must persevere, they must prevail to keep their tournament life on the line.
I also want to mention it's not just Hiroshima. This is a Malaysian effort. Card Shark Ioka, who did the storyboard on this, which we're not going to be seeing because that would crash the client. Thank you, stable client, for crashing when there is an intensive storyboard. The musician Takehitore also mapping a bit in this, and Etsuko Marvia as well. So this is a collab effort from 5 different mappers, not just Sheena. All Malaysian. See if the Southeast Asia representation might push Philippines over the edge on this. They need to in order to stay in the tournament.
Need that desperately, but so far, so good. Sadly, Zini does find a miss though, which gives that early leverage to the Russian side. Dasuk broke earlier with the Hard Rock, but still on the recovery there. The map has just started, but still not looking so juicy here. But Dasuke and Zini finding trades once again. Ikarusi also finds another miss as well, which gives an even bigger lead to Russia. Still, that's just the quarter of the map. Anything can change, but this is looking pretty dire here. The transition will be coming in to the first guy now. Zonely is also finding the miss. Lexus to trade 2 FCs against 1. It's just Nathan Ram. Never mind though, Walter finds a miss. It's just Gamer and Nathan Ram. This is still competitive. This is still very close. And if anyone misses, then this will be significant for any of those teams.
This is a slow section, so they get to build up their combo basically for free on this part too. So this score lead's going to be shifting over to the Philippines. Not quickly, but it will be shifting. Gamer, the only remaining FC against Nathan Ram at the moment, as we have a little pause for dramatic effect.
Well said there, but yeah, the slow section, still the 1/3, not catching anyone so far, but more of that 1/3 to come. Those combos, Zany finds a miss though, which tastes a little bad for them, but nonetheless still not as bad as it could be. Dasuke and Zonely is also trading misses. The combo lead is going to be on the Russian side, but still, this is still more than doable as long as Nathan Ram holds. You gotta hope for a miss from Gamer if you're rooting for Philippines, but if you're Russia, you must be feeling really, really good for now. 1/3 of the map still left, and a more transition into more streams, more mechanics, and here it comes. Lexus finds a miss as we get into more spinners.
He is not happy about that miss, and I can't really blame him, but for right now, it's not going to make a huge difference. Welter and Gamer on the no-mod combos. Ikarusi and Nathan on their counterparts. It's going to come down to who misses on these combos, because that will immediately shift the score lead over one direction or the other. Little chess piece there as we get into the final chorus. Let's see who misses. Or if anyone misses, as a matter of fact. At least in terms of the impactful combos, Zonely does miss, but not one of the impactful combos. Not going to be making a huge difference here. And looking very solid for all of these no-mod combos. Map length is slowly dwindling, and I think at this point, Russia has the point in the bag. Gamer trying to secure the FC alongside Nathan Ram, and will do so. Walter died, unfortunately. But it will still be. I don't know what happened there, but it will be a Russian win nonetheless. Even if he disconnected, we take the score at the disconnect, and that is 650k, which is still going to be in favor of Russia. 6-3 is your final score. Russia progress into the semifinals weekend. Philippines will be saying goodbye to you, unfortunately, despite the impressive team effort on a lot of these maps.
That was very close in some of them. This Fremont 4 as well could have gone either way if only Gamer missed, and maybe Philippines could have had a second breathe here to try and force out and try to stay alive for longer, but ultimately it was not meant to be a good showing from Philippines nonetheless, and congratulations to Russia with advancing further into the semi-final stage. A really heartbreaking loss here from Philippines, but this is where this journey ends, and with that being said, I think this is the time when I think we'll be saying our goodbyes, right, Fiery?
Yeah, there was one match going on the second stream prior to this. That was Taiwan versus Chile. Chile will also be advancing into the semifinals weekend. Taiwan eliminated 6-2. Still one more match remaining, and that is Norway versus Brazil. That'll be happening in a lot of hours, actually. 19 UTC. Which is approximately 3 hours from now. So you look at the bracket here. This is what you can sort of expect to see in the semifinals weekend as we wait for the final matchup. You got Germany versus Chile locked in, New Zealand versus China, Great Britain or the UK versus Russia. That is a brutal match. Oh my god. That's a brutal matchup to have in the semifinals, my god.
Exactly. I gotta agree with that. That is a brutal match.
That is nuts. And we'll be waiting on the winner for Norway-Brazil to see who faces off against South Korea, who have lost against Australia in the winner's bracket. And that'll do it for the matchups in the semifinals. For the semifinals themselves in the winner's bracket, since we didn't get to show that, that will be Canada, USA, Australia, and Poland. Not sure exactly which order those will be facing off against, but you can look forward to some really banger matchups there. All 4 of those teams, absolutely stellar. I think most people had Australia, Poland, and the United States at the very least as top 3. So, looking to secure that as they all are in the semifinals winners bracket. But for now, Norway versus Brazil. We'll see you guys in 3 hours from now. It's been Fire Rage and Lightning. We'll see you guys next time. Buy banners. Donate to the prize pool. Thank you.
Yummy banners and bye!